Welcome everybody to the AFK podcast. My name is Kid Bravo. Please hold your applause. All right. I am joined here today with my fellow co-host, Savage Senpai. Savage, say what's up to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So today I know people have been getting used to the face cam. I know the last podcast we did, we've had the face cam. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, the face cam might not be happening for a while. So please bear with us while we do that. Also, before we keep going, I think it's good that we do some shout outs. I want to shout out everybody's Twitter. Today is the Thursday, June 27th. It was Rice's birthday yesterday, I believe. Well, technically yesterday, because it's midnight. So happy birthday to Rice. Um, Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/kidbravo, kid_bravo, something like that. I'll put it in the link below. And then twitter.com/savage senpai. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/kidbravo. And Savage Senpai doesn't really do Twitch, so don't worry about him. So other than that, let's get right into it after the formalities. Also, actually, before we go into it, this is really scuffed. Um, if you got used to the character Kid Bravo, today we're gonna be talking about some serious stuff. So I figured it'd only be right to not have the
Be
character
normal.
to be normal. Yeah, to not have the character be out. So please bear with that. All right. So first, we're gonna start off some simple stuff. Um, the EA surprise mechanics. So I don't know too much. I mean, I know kind of a little. Savage Senpai, you kind of keep up with this one a little bit more than I do. So why don't you start us off for it?
So basically, there was like a meeting that was set up I think it was like some fucking court thing or some bullshit. Basically like a representative for EA, which basically a lawyer for EA. They're defending. Basically here in the US they're going against loot boxes, right? And this is something that they've done in the UK already. And I think loot boxes are now banned in Belgium just because they're considered like gambling, a form of gambling. Uh, so yeah, so
I
basically
think
here
it's
in the
only in
U.S.,
Belgium. I think it's in
I
Belgium.
think
It's
it's only in
illegal.
Belgium. Yeah, that's why I said Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I didn't hear you.
Basically here in the U.S., they're kind of trying to do the same thing. They're kind of looking into it. They're looking into it because it's like a form of gambling because with loot boxes, you pay your money and then you just get some random shit. It's no guarantee you'll get what you want. Um, which is understandable. Like I've been one of those people that for years I've been against loot boxes, and I don't know about you,
Have
but
you?
I know definitely some of our friends have fucking been against it. Uh,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for
I have
sure.
been against them. I think that they're fucking
Have you
stupid.
not bought
I
loot?
I
I
don't know.
swear to God, I thought you bought loot boxes or
Nope,
something.
you did. I made
I
fun of you
did.
for you doing it. Remember back in Overwatch? I never bought a loot
I'm
box
so
ever
mad because
in
I
my
actually
fucking
that
life.
was literally the event that I stopped playing the game. I don't know
Yeah, I
why
made
I
fun of
did
you
it.
for doing it because I was like, why would you buy a loot box? Like, what the
I
fuck?
still
Like,
don't.
you're
I don't.
literally wasting money. It's literally gambling. That's what you're doing. You're just fucking gambling.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
so basically, EA, with their FIFA, because FIFA makes them a fuck ton of money every year. I think it's like 800 million off loot boxes. Um, they are defending the fuck out of it, and they'll do anything to defend the fuck out of it. So when they were having this meeting about it, basically the lawyer was just like, "Oh, they're not called loot boxes. They're actually called surprise mechanics." And she basically just came out and
I
said
mean, aren't
like,
they
"Oh,
though?
like
Like when you really think about
people
it, aren't they
people
surprise
love."
mechanics? You feel me?
No, they're not.
Come on, they're yeah, I can see it. Honestly,
Are you trying to justify loot
no,
boxes
but
here?
I can see it. I've listened as someone. All right, I'm gonna say it. As bad as loot boxes are, they're not like the practices of loot boxes that have been used aren't like incredibly terrible, right? Like nobody's forcing you to buy these things. They're usually cosmetic, unless if it's pay to win loot boxes, then yeah, we have a problem. But other than that, all of
Which
them
is
seem
what
to.
which is what FIFA's is. That's basically what it is.
I can't speak fully on FIFA's because I don't play FIFA like that.
No,
Uh,
that's what it is though. I've watched videos and John, the way John, sorry, it is our fellow friend that I'm mentioning, he who's a FIFA player. You literally buy the cards, right? I think that's what they call them, cards, but they're basically loot boxes, and you will happen to get a legendary player if you're lucky enough to put together a team that you can verse other people online with. That's basically what it is.
yeah, but it's just players. It
So
doesn't
if
like.
you,
I don't know if that gives you an
yeah,
advantage.
no, that
If
does
you
give
have
you an
skill,
advantage
you have
because if you
skill.
have no, that's not how that works. It's like okay. Think of it in this aspect, right? Because this is a game you've played. NBA, right? Imagine a level 60 versus a level 90. You could have all the skill you want, right? Maybe you may score once or twice, but a level 99 in NBA will still shit on you. Doesn't
Yeah, but
matter
that's a
what the fuck kind
different
of skill
thing.
you
But
have.
no, no, that's a different
No.
argument.
It's the
No,
same
that's a complete.
concept.
No, it's
It's the same
complete different
concept
argument.
because
No, it's complete
no.
different.
You can ask someone. I've watched videos about this brand. You can't like you said. I've actually looked into this. Like you really haven't looked into it. I've watched videos about this. Like when you have a team of all legendaries in FIFA versus a team of somebody who doesn't have all legendaries, the team of all legendaries is gonna fucking win. It's just a fact.
Oh yeah, no,
Like
that's
you
what I
would
was
literally
gonna
have to let
say.
the other
No, that's what I
player.
was.
You would literally have to let the other player, fucking purposely win, basically. But like
No, that's
the
what I was
legendary
gonna.
team is always
That's
gonna
what I
win.
was gonna say. That yeah, that it's different comparing it to 2K. Because 2K is a one-on-one
I
experience,
was
right? Of
comparing it
course.
to that because of your claim, what you were saying, because that's the only thing you can compare it to. Because like I don't know if you've seen the way FIFA works, but like I said, like these loot boxes they give you players, right? And
Uh
a lot
huh.
of the time you get like legendary players of the past, right? Who were like all stars in the fucking FIFA, and these
Yep.
guys are like obviously top stats and everything. So like I said, when these people like buy fuck tons of loot boxes to the point where they finally get their all-star legendary team for FIFA, and then they verse other people, the other people are gonna get shitted on, and that's just how it is. And that's why the people are willing to spend so much fucking
Okay,
money to
so yes,
hopefully
so
get
like sure,
good
so like I can
players.
see to the fact that it's like sure with FIFA you might have a case, right? But let's look at like a game like Overwatch or another game. Yeah, like Overwatch is like the perfect example. It's like where's the danger in loot boxes in that? There's really none. That's the thing. Like, all right,
It, it's
for
still
me, I just feel
it's it's because it's still considered gambling.
I get very uncomfortable when the government gets involved into gaming. Right? This is something I think I said this as soon as Belgium got hit with the thing. Like, it gets me really uncomfortable that the government is starting to realize that gaming is like a actual business, and that people are actually making money off this. If that means that regulations are going to come in and they're going to try to the government's pretty simple, right? When they realize something that's making money and they're not getting a piece of it, they'll do anything it takes to get a piece of the pie. So like now that we're kind of giving them power to dictate this.
How? So, so let me ask you. So how will taking away loot boxes let the government have money?
So it's not like exactly the loot boxes per se, but it's more like okay, we've gotten to this point, right? We got to loot boxes. Um, so now we kind of started learning a little bit more about gaming, and it's like okay, well now we learned that gaming makes this much money, and gaming does this kind of stuff, right? So let's see other things that we can see that we can find a way to get money off of them because that's how the government works. That's usually
The government gets money off of gaming industries anyways. Like I don't get how they can get money from taking away a loot box.
no, but you're okay because you're stuck on the loot box part. The loot box part is more of the sense of like they're starting to realize that it makes money, right? So now they're starting to realize we can make more money off this by
That's not the problem, right? It's not just the money making. The fact is of the matter is that a little kid can walk into a fucking uh, casino and
yeah,
gamble,
I know, but
but
a
a
little
little
kid
kid can
doesn't have
take
a
their
debit
mother's credit
card,
card and go
and
and
that's the
fucking
parents' fault.
keep fucking buying and buying loot
And that's
boxes. There's also the fact it's kind of like you remember that whole thing that happened a long time ago with the
CS:GO.
Syndicate and T Martin
Yeah,
with
yeah,
their
yeah.
fucking CS:GO
Yeah, but that's
store,
way
and how
different.
the reason no, but a big reason was because kids were also in that, and it's illegal
No,
to
a
have
big
kids and
reason.
let kids gamble.
Yeah, but a bigger reason was because they lied about it and said that they weren't.
Oh, of
that they had
course.
found it and they
Yeah.
didn't disclose, right? So it's a big lie. So it's like that one's a little bit more muddied up. But to me, it's like, all right, if listen, we're all adults here, right? Every person who has a video game is an adult in the sense of like even if a kid has it, adult had to purchase it, right? If you're gonna be an
So
adult, hold on. If you're gonna be an adult, if you're gonna have kids and you're gonna let your kids play on the PlayStation, then you should be wary of the loot boxes and you should be wary of what your kids are stealing your credit card, right? Like I don't like when it's personal responsibility come into this, right? Like I bought my loot boxes, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I was gambling, like this is bullshit. Like no, I chose to spend my money on loot boxes. That was it, right? That was my own money that I chose to do. Um, so like this idea that it's like these kids are gambling and they're stealing their parents' credit cards and like that's the problem with the parents,
that's
not a
one of the
problem of the
problems.
kids. Well, yeah, but
I
that's
think
like the
another big problem is just that honestly, I don't think you should be paying for this shit. If you pay for a $60 game, I don't think that you should be paying for loot boxes. I say that for every game. Overwatch, I say that for any game that has loot boxes basically at $60. I think that there should be uh just you fucking do your challenges, you fucking get skins, shit like that. As you move on, you get skins. Cool.
yeah,
I
but
don't
that's
think
a
there should
different
be a system
that's a
to get
whole
fucking loot
yeah,
boxes.
but that's a whole complete different argument conversation than what we're having right now, right? That's a conversation of what we would like to happen, and we're having a conversation of what is happening, right? So right now, loot boxes are being put into games, right? Right now, I have the choice. Right now, if I want to open up Overwatch and buy loot boxes, that's my choice, right? Um, and if I do so, I do so. That's I just don't like when people when people are like, "Oh, my kid stole my credit card," aka we should take loot
Okay, so
boxes out of the game.
let's just back up here. You're advocating for loot boxes, basically. You're just saying fucking loot boxes fucking
I'm
bring.
advocating for that people can do whatever they want with their money.
Sure, but by letting people do whatever they want with their money, you're gonna let these game companies just do whatever the fuck they want to fuck people over. Do
Yeah.
you
So
understand
okay.
that?
So right now, right? If we're looking at the market, we would say that if most people were like us, the market would demand that loot boxes crash, right? Unfortunately, that's not what's going on. The market's always gonna choose loot boxes because of the addictive nature of it, of course. Because I mean, yeah, like in the sense it is gambling, but that's just how. Excuse me. That's just something like gambling is legal in the U.S. Within regulations, of course. So that's just like one of the things that are
This is
happening.
also why you should watch, because I mean, I'm not the best speaker for this shit, but you should definitely watch what you should have watched before this whole entire conversation. Angry Joe's video on this whole situation and Yong's fucking video on this whole situation, because they say some really fucking interesting things.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll watch it. So like the thing, like I said,
Because
right?
they actually do way more research into this shit and how it
So
works and
when
why it's such a bad thing.
if I could finish my point. So like I said, so basically, I believe that if humans really wanted, if the market really wanted, we would be able to destroy loot boxes. Unfortunately, that's just not the world we're living in right now. People, for some reason, really enjoy loot boxes, so we might as well kind of just like accept it unless we we do something
I
about it.
think the people who enjoy loot boxes the most are the people that are fucking are and like I said, I kind of bash on sports people because with the fucking like NBA, you had the what the fuck are they called? The
Ultimate Team.
no.
Let's
For
say what
NBA,
is
you have the currency.
currents VC.
Yeah,
They
and
said
people
FIFA.
buy a fuck ton of VC, right? And then people
Uh
buy
huh.
a fuck ton of loot boxes. And usually, people who play sports games, they'll give in to just buying all this shit without giving a fuck. People who I think are like playing other fucking games, they
Well,
don't
yeah,
do
but
it as
that's the
much.
market. That's the thing, right? You're kind of proving my point that that's the market. The market of people who are playing 2K and FIFA only play FIFA and 2K, so they don't
No, I
mind
know,
putting
and
in a
that's
hundred
I think
dollars.
that's a big ass problem. I think that's just a big ass problem.
But
This is why I
how?
say like this is why like a lot of fucking people just say like fucking what do you call it? Fight with your wallets. Just don't buy them
Yeah, and
and
that's a
watch them
cool
change it
idea,
up.
but that's not what's going on, right? Like you and me can, you and me and 1,000 people can fight for a wallet. Unfortunately, we're always gonna have the 2K and the FIFA community who's gonna do it, and I don't see like if you're only gonna play one game and you say, you know what, I'm only playing this one game. Hold on, let me restart this. So you and I, let's say, like in a year, you and I will probably spend like at least probably 1,000 or even more. on games. I would say 1,000. I think 1,000 is a fair number to say in a year, but that's because we have the money to be able to do it. Now, someone who would buy a game every like 5 months will probably spend like about like $200 or $400 on video games, right?
I've made this argument with you before, where I said it's understandable that someone would buy loot boxes if you only play that one game.
Yeah, so like
Does it justify it? No, it doesn't.
I think it does justify it.
Not really, no. Because I still think that you're kind of just fucking paying into it and you're kind of fucking yourself over, if that makes any sense.
But you're not because
And also letting the company fucking.
well, how are you getting fucked over?
How are you getting fucked over? Because the odds of you getting a legendary card is very fucking low. So you're just spending all this money, probably like a good $100 before you maybe get one legendary.
Yeah, but I guess someone would say like the difference
So
the argument against that would be no the argument against
so
that the argument against that would be like so sure it takes me a while to get a legendary, but I you didn't you didn't let me finish. All right, fine, go for it.
I was just gonna finish the statement by saying the best way to fix this loot box situation, to meet in the middle, is by putting the percentages up of the odds of you getting what you want. A lot of games, they don't have percentages. I think the first game I saw do percentages for loot boxes, and I know it's a free game, but it's still considered loot boxes, is Apex. And Apex did it right, because like when you go and buy your loot box or whatever the hell you call it in that game, it'll say the odds of you getting this is 50%. The odds of you getting this one is 70%, and it tells you like the percentages. I think that's the best way to meet in the middle with loot boxes. If they tell you what are the odds of you actually getting something.
But this is all right. I always hear this conversation.
State the statistics, and maybe we'll be okay.
I always hear this argument be brought up, right? But whenever you hear someone, here's the real problem I have with this argument. It's not directed towards you. It's directed towards a lot of people. A lot of people when they argue against loot boxes, it's usually they never argue about the percentages. That's what I've noticed. They'll either say that it's a detriment to the gaming community, that it messes up the games, blah 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 blah, right? But for some reason, when it comes down to the middle, it comes down to like learning the percentages. But like nobody actually really cares what the percentages are, because that's never an argument that they use until it comes down to meeting in the middle.
I don't think many people fucking use that argument for some reason. They really should.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
like,
it's because it's a new like thing too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like people don't use the argument of let me see the percentages, because if you think about it, right? So your argument would be the arguments are, it messes up the gaming community, it makes developers a little bit lazy because they're getting money, they don't really have to worry about content afterwards, right? All those problems, I don't know how you can meet in the middle and say, well, if we show our percentage, it'll be okay, because none of the problems that you just listed off even like remotely get fixed.
It's kind of like you instead of like spending your money blindly, you at least visually see what the odds of you getting something are.
Yeah, but it fixes nothing whatsoever.
It does fix something, because at least you know what you're putting your money into.
But most people are
blindly going in and then spending hundreds of dollars and then realizing, well, fuck, I still didn't get a legendary. Whereas before, it'll be like, hey, if you spent this much, you'll have a 70% chance of getting a legendary. I'm like, okay, cool. At least I know that I'll probably hit a legendary around that point.
Yeah, I mean, it'll fix that, but it doesn't fix the bigger problems.
I mean, it fixes that problem. That's kind of like the biggest thing with loot boxes. That's like a big ass problem, is that people don't know.
But that's not the big problem. That's not the argument. That's not the argument that people use when they say this is a big problem. The arguments that are mostly said are it's a detriment to the gaming community because it makes developers lazy, and like they don't have to worry about after content because they just have to put everything in loot boxes, right? This was used to be the thing about DLC, right? That it'd be like, oh, the game kind of feels hollow because they let all their content in the DLCs, right? Like I don't know how just seeing up percentages fixes any like major actual problem in loot boxes.
It does fix. I told you, it does fix.
It fixes the percent. Like, no, but it doesn't fix any big problem. Like that's not like a huge problem. That doesn't fix any of the major glaring issues with loot boxes.
it kind of, I just told you why it fixes it.
It fixes a problem, but that problem is not even that big of a problem.
How do you how do you know what's not that big of a problem? It's actually a big complaint, believe it or not.
Because one of the because
Not
okay,
knowing what
because
you're
all right,
fucking buying is a big complaint by
so
people.
let's look at it like this, right? You say, um, we need percentages, right? So we know what we're buying, right? And if you compare that to saying, well, the gaming industry has been negatively affected by loot boxes, by the culture of loot boxes. Do you see how different like these two like things are?
Sure.
Like one
Honestly,
has the
dude,
connotation, one has
look,
like a bigger
listen,
a bigger problem in the industry as in itself, and the other one's kind of more just like a personal thing.
listen. I didn't know you were gonna make this into a debate. I would have done more research on this because I thought you were on my side here with against loot boxes, but it sounds like you're not.
No, like all right, I'm like
So
I don't like loot
if
boxes, but
I
I'm not
come
gonna.
back if I come back and fucking like literally do my research and then actually do a fucking good debate with you, then sure. But right now, like I can't really tell you statistics and what the true fucking what do you call it? The true big problems with loot boxes, how they affect gaming and how they've affected gaming over the years and how they can affect gaming in the future and what the problem exactly is. I can like I've only watched like two videos and I've watched the fucking surprise mechanics video and that's about it. Like I can't like give you like reasons right now because like I said, I didn't really do the biggest research for this whole entire situation. I like again, I wasn't expecting to debate you in this because like I'm not. I thought we were just gonna like basically do the same thing here and
No,
talk about it and
then the
why they should stop it.
then the podcast wouldn't be fun, Jed. Let's spice it up a little bit. No, like all right,
All
I
right,
don't
so let's
person.
move on
All
because
right,
I'm not
let's do
gonna
it.
like
Fuck it, let's
argue
go.
anymore.
Let's go. Let's do it. Go for it.
No,
But
I'm just saying,
no, I got it.
I'm saying, like, I
I know
wasn't
what you mean.
expecting a
I know what you
debate.
mean. I know what you
That's
mean.
what, because usually prior to the podcast, like, we usually think, like, hey, we talk about this. Like for example, when we were talking about Titanfall 2, like, prior to the podcast, we knew we were going to fight about Titanfall 2, have a whole debate about Titanfall 2. This, I didn't know. I didn't know that. I thought you were just going to go on with the whole loot box thing and be pretty much on my side with how it's pretty much bad for the gaming community.
All right. Before we leave it, I'll just so everybody so nobody's confused on my point. Loot boxes are bad, right? But I'm not gonna tell somebody that they can't buy loot boxes, and I'm not gonna stop someone from doing it. That's basically like my whole thing. All right, so let's go.
You're for freedom of the wallet.
Yeah, basically, if people are
Okay,
buying
then
loot boxes,
I'm for freedom of the wallet, but I'll call you a fucking idiot for what you spend your money on.
so yeah, so we're kind of like in the same ballpark. We just kind of
We're in
see
the
it.
same we're in the same boat here. I don't. I just
We're
you just.
we're in the
I don't know
same
where
boat,
you're
but on
going with
different
it.
decks, basically. Because I want to call someone stupid on what they if they buy loot boxes. That's
Oh, I'll
basically
call him fucking stupid. I'll
it.
call
Right, like I
John
said.
stupid for how many fucking loot boxes he bought for FIFA.
Same boat but different decks. All right, so we got that out of the way. That was a little
Toy
tangent there.
Story.
Toy Story,
Toy
yeah. So let's
Story.
do it. Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 recently came out. Me and Savage here went to go see it on Sunday, I believe. So we're gonna kind of give our an in. I don't know if we'll do in depth, but we'll do a review. So let's start off. Let's start off pretty simple. Let's start off with the basic plot. Spoilers, by the way, for anybody, just so you know. So the basic plot really is, we start off where we left in Toy Story 3, with Bonnie. I think her name is Bonnie. Bonnie playing with her toys, going to kindergarten. This whole time, Woody is kind of being not. He's used to being the favorite toy, and he's kind of being left aside. So he decides to go over to kindergarten with Bonnie on her first day. Bonnie makes a paper mache at arts and crafts Sporky. He's called, and he wants to go into the trash. Woody
It's actually
says no.
Forky.
Forky. No, I
Forky.
think he's a
Even though
sport.
it's a sport, they call him Forky. I know for a fact because I watched the whole video about this. So like, why didn't they call him Sporky? It's like because she's a little kid, she probably doesn't know any better, and she just called it
I
Forky.
didn't know what a spork was until I was like in middle school, anyways. So so yeah, so she sees that Forky wants to go in the trash for some reason because that's just he's a I. Cool, we'll go into this one. So that happens. We get a bunch of stuff a bunch of montages with Forky trying to be thrown into the trash by himself. We then meet Lil Bo Peep again after he Woody sees them in like an antique shop after getting separated from everybody. And from there, I don't want to spoil too much of the movie for you guys, so I will, because I still want you guys to see it because I think it's a great movie. So I won't spoil too much of the plot. But basically, the movie left me in tears, and I thought it was a pretty good movie. I let's start off here. Let's start off here. Do you think Toy Story 4 should have been made?
Yes, I think it's a good ending to the whole entire series.
Okay, because I've heard arguments that
Because
Toy Story.
I don't like where the last one ended. Like I think they need a new movie, which is Toy Story 4, to end it finally, and give everybody like a an ending, just an ending that we can move on with our lives and be like, all right, that ended well.
Well, I would even say that it wasn't even an ending for everybody. It was an ending for Woody. Uh,
Yeah, and I can't argue that Woody was the protagonist here throughout
oh
the
well, I
whole
mean, he's
movie.
been the protagonist for every
Yeah,
movie.
that's what I'm saying. I think it's fine that they ended it. Obviously Woody was a protagonist, and they ended his story finally. Uh, and
So,
I think that's totally fine. I like that.
so since this is a spoiler review, we'll talk about the ending where Woody, throughout the whole movie, Woody is kind of wrestling with the idea of being a lost toy, quote unquote. He's not being used properly from his kid, and he's pretty loyal to Andy still. He kind of has like abandonment issues since Andy left, and he's really not used to not being the favorite toy. So throughout the whole movie, we kind of see Woody experiencing like the life outdoor, um, and meeting new toys that don't have kids, and apparently it's like a really big deal if you have a kid, in this universe. So in the end, Woody decides to become a lost toy and realize that his real purpose in life, I guess you could say, is to help other toys find a home, find their own kid. Since he already had his chance to make a kid happy, he wants to give that out to other kids. It makes sense in Woody's character. I don't think any character really felt off. I think Buzz a little bit kind of felt a little bit off, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm trying to say. Buzz, so for anybody who was wondering, Buzz in this movie, kind of, he's kind of just used as a comedic, uh, just as comedy, basically. Okay, this is something that's really weird. So Woody has a conscience, but Buzz doesn't.
No, I think what we're trying to say there. Woody has a conscience. Yeah, all toys have a conscience.
Uh
But I don't
huh.
think Buzz understands that he has a voice inside his head talking to him, so he just presses his buttons to see what the fuck they
Yeah, that
say.
was this weird. That was a weird thing. They kind of have these meta jokes about them being toys. They just kind of leave it there, and they kind of make you wonder. So at one point, Woody talks about his consciousness, and then Buzz is like, "Consciousness? What's that?" And Woody goes, "It's the voice inside your head." And then Buzz says, "The voice inside your head." So it makes me like wonder. It's like, okay, does like this the cars, right, or even the horse, do they have like a voice inside their head? Um, and like, how does every toy kind of have this innate reaction that whenever a human sees them, they stop? Like, this is like questions to the.
What do you mean?
So okay, so Forky comes to life, right? And nobody tells him that like he needs to not move once humans are looking at him, but he just has like this like instinct within him that he just drops down and pretends to be normal when a human looks at him.
Yeah, I would say unless this was explained somewhere, then
I don't
maybe I
think it
forgot.
ever was.
I would say that this is kind of like a little loophole. And again, when you watch these movies, because you got to remember that these movies are for kids, right? As a kid, we probably wouldn't catch on to that, right? Our fucking brains were not looking at a movie like this, like, why is nobody asking these questions, right? As a fucking kid, you just see it as a movie. Like you don't really you see these toys as like what they are. They're toys, and they stop moving. That's their objective. When a human's looking at them, they just stop moving. You don't really think anything of it. As adults, I can see how that can be a loophole. Like, okay, like why is nobody asking this question? Like, how the fuck does Forky know? He's a fairly new toy. How the hell does he know to like stay still when, when when a human looks at him. You know, that's understandable to think that. I don't know why. I don't know if it was ever explained. I don't know why, but yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I would even say that like, because there is there's an after credit scene where Forky gets a wife, right? And the wife asks like, "How am I alive?" And Forky just answers, "I don't even know." Right? So they realize that like we have asked this question, how they're alive. We've asked like they know that adults are gonna come watch this movie because it's part of their childhood, right?
Mhm.
So like I don't know why they wouldn't try to like because this was playing with the whole idea of being a toy. Like what does it constitute to be a toy? And I wish they would have at least expanded on the idea that it's like this toys just have like it's kind of like an emotion, like emotions, right? Like emotions aren't taught to you. Like nobody teaches you how to laugh, nobody teaches you how to smile, right? And nobody
Mhm.
like teaches these toys that they kind of have to stand still. But it's like it's been happening since like the very beginning, right? When Buzz comes in Toy Story 1, he doesn't even know that he's a toy, right? But he still has that reaction to stop moving when a kid sees him.
Yeah. And you never thought of that back then, right? You were just like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I never really thought about it until like I watched Toy Story 4 and they kind of like mentioned like a lot of the movie's plot was like built around this, like becoming a toy, and then they like if they had like done like a complete different like uh story, I probably wouldn't have thought about it, but it was so prevalent to the story that it kind of like made me wonder.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
that's
mean, again, I don't know. I don't know, like, uh, that's a very good question. Maybe it's a question that people should look. I don't know if anybody else is talking about it. Like, maybe you should look up on Reddit and see if
I mean
anybody
like
else in the
there's
forums is talking about
theories.
this.
I
Because there's
know
actually
there's
like,
theories
what are the
like
theories?
the
Have you heard any?
Pixar theory. Have you ever heard of the Pixar theory?
What's the Pixar theory?
So the Pixar theory is that basically every single Pixar movie is connected to the same universe, and
Hmm.
there's like a whole
I've heard
timeline
that
of
theory,
it.
but like,
So the
how
way
does that
that
affect why the toys stop when
so
they look at them?
shit. So that fuck, it doesn't really explain how why the toys stop, but it explains why the
Yeah,
toys are
that's
alive. But it doesn't explain why they stop. I don't know. This can somebody. All right, we need. If anybody ever gets to do an interview with anybody from Pixar, this is a question we should be asking. This is what should. But who cares? That's not even important to the movie. We have a bunch of brand new characters.
we really got so like
That's
sidetracked
such a
with why
like
the
it's something
fuck.
I've always wondered. We there's some brand new characters. Boom kaboom boom, doom kaboom, whatever. Canadia's best stun man. Um, the fluffies, the teddy bears,
Yeah,
Duck
the
and
two
Bear. I
fluffy
think
like
that's what their name is. I'm
yeah
not 100%
yeah
sure.
something like that.
Gabby, Chatty Gabby, which is the antagonist, quote unquote. Um, but
Yeah.
she's not really like a bad guy. The dummy, the Ventriloquist doll from Goosebumps, and a lot of other minor characters. What do you think of the supporting roles this time?
Uh, like who? Like,
Like
give me an example.
Boom Kaboom, the Fluffies,
Oh, did I
Catty
like the
Catty.
side characters, like the new
Yeah,
characters that were
yeah, the new
introduced?
characters are introduced.
Yeah, I mean, I like them. I know you had told me, before that you didn't like they didn't really use the toys from the previous movies too much. Um, but at the same time, the movie can only be so long. And second off, I think they had to give these new toys a chance, and I think they played a pretty good role into the movie. Like they needed Boom Kaboom. I think that's his fucking name. I feel like we're getting that wrong, but anyways,
Boom
they
Kaboom.
needed him for that one scene, right? Like there was a major plot point where they kind of needed him, basically. Obviously, I think every toy that was introduced, they kind of needed them for different reasons.
Yeah, the
In this
fluff
movie.
toys were just used for comedic relief.
Which was great. We can't lie that that wasn't great because
No,
that
they
shit
were
was
good
great.
characters. I liked them. Yeah, every character had like a nice arc. Daddy Gabby had like a pretty powerful arc where she wanted to be with a kid. She dreamt of being with a kid, and then the kid said, "Nah, get out of here." And then she ended up with a different kid instead, because which was pretty. It was really sweet. It was really sweet. That one, I will say, that one started to. That's when the waterworks started coming out for me. That scene kind of got to me. Um, and I don't know. As like to me, it's really hard to judge this movie, especially after watching like Toy Story 3. I think Toy Story 3 is still probably the best Toy Story movie out of all of them.
That's a big ass hot take, sir.
Yeah,
Toy
like,
Story 3 was my least favorite.
are you serious?
Oh yeah.
I thought.
I see. For me, I will always love Toy Story 1 as my favorite.
Okay.
I like Toy Story 2, and I like Toy Story 4, and then comes Toy Story 3.
Wow, that's a real. I hated Toy Story one. But like looking at Toy Story one now is so boring.
What?
Toy Story one is
What?
actually as an adult. Toy Story one
Toy
is
Story
super
1
boring.
was so
Toy
fucking
Story two
nice,
is really
dude.
no. Actually, Toy Story two and Toy Story three are a tie for me. Then I would say
Okay.
Toy Story four. I think it's just, it's Toy Story.
What
Toy
did you like
Story.
about what did you like about Toy Story 3? Because I just didn't. I mean,
I
yeah,
like
I
the
didn't like it
villain.
that much.
I thought the villain was
The
really
villain,
good. The
okay.
setting was cool. I like the kind of heist. When that heist like jail escape kind
You
of
know, you
plot.
know what's really weird? So I don't know what it was. Like I looked up Toy Story when Toy Story did come out. I forgot that movie came out in 2010. It felt like it was just like a few years ago,
It looks
and it's
so
just the
good.
fact that it was
It
9
still
years
looks
ago
so
was
good.
it's insane. Yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
since
oh
we're
me,
talking about how things look, Toy Story 4 it literally
yeah.
looks like they used like real like a real backdrop. Um
I I watched a whole like video like 2 days ago
uh-huh.
about the how Pixar's animation has evolved from Toy Story 1 to Toy Story 4, and they put all the movies and like all the like basically like you have Toy Story 1, right, which was the original one. And do you remember the dog? I don't remember the dog looking this
Yeah,
bad,
no,
okay,
I
but do you
remember the
remember the
dog.
dog in Toy Story 1?
Yep.
The dog didn't even have fucking fur. It was just like it was just some rough ass fucking like texture. I don't even know how to explain it. It was fucking ugly. But it's insane because like the first time that they added fur into the Pixar universe was with Monsters Inc. with Sully. That was the
Of
first time
course.
that they've added like really good fur. That I'm sure the people, the animators, they had to know their physics because like the fucking program that they used to like make millions, I mean millions of fucking pieces of fur on a fucking on Sully was fucking insane. Um, but they made a new program which helped them like develop that, and like it's really crazy to see how they keep reusing all these programs for all the movies they develop up until Toy Story 4. It's really insane because you know you have Finding Nemo with the sea and how it looks. You have
Mm-hmm.
the fucking the Coco movie. Remember that?
Yes. Oh, I fucking love Coco.
Yeah, like you know that scene where he walks into like that like fuck I think it's like
The flowers?
it's like a city. It's like a city with like all
Oh,
those
okay,
lights, like a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
fucking fuck ton of lights. Yeah,
yeah. Yep.
that took a lot of work for the fucking animators to do, believe it or
Of
not, because
course.
they had to develop like this program to even pull that off. So Toy Story 4, like you can see the fucking major jump
Yeah,
from
there's
1996
one
to today. It's
one of
fucking
the scenes
insane.
is like when they're Woody and Forky are like walking outside. And oh my god, like they were like walking in the dark, and like just the light reflection that reflected off like the doll was off Woody was like amazing. Like I honestly thought someone had taken like a photo and just pasted it to the background. Like these guys are like wild at how good like their backdrops are. Um,
Yeah,
I know a lot of people.
animation is fucking amazing.
I know a lot of people didn't watch it, but one that's really good with this is the little dinosaur because like I guess in the end of the movie there's like these really good like backdrops, just like they're just backdrops, and it's just fucking beautiful. Like it literally looks like it's an actual picture. So yeah, Pixar movies are always gonna be great. Um, other than that, like I don't know, it's super hard to talk about Toy Story 4 and like it's just a good movie. Like it's a lot you could talk about. It's a good plot. I feel like you ever realize that it's like it's super hard to talk about good movies, but it's super easy to talk about bad movies.
I think it's because
There's just like
I
more
don't know. I
like
think it's just easier to pick out bad things.
yeah, because it's super hard to be like this is good because blah 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 blah, and then in the end you're just like it's just
Yeah,
really good, you know. But like in when it's like a bad thing, you're like oh, I can totally just name
yeah,
off why I
yeah,
don't like it.
yeah. You can, yeah, yeah.
But I would say go watch Toy Story 4. It's a great.
I like it. Yeah, like I said, I think this is a good ending to the Toy Story universe. I really liked it. Uh, Do you think like would you be okay if they like made side movies with like other characters in the future?
Um.
Or do you think they should just end it here,
Shit.
like end that universe here and never do it again?
Shit. That's a tough question. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind.
Because I thought about it, I'm like, like it'd be cool to see, adventures with like different toys. Like I don't know, like Jesse or something, and Jesse and Buzz or
If
some shit,
anything,
and like
they could make.
you know,
I would be fine with shorts. I don't think you could make a whole movie,
or even yeah, even animated shorts. I think that'd be cool. Or
which they
or do
did.
you think
They
you
did a
think
lot of those before. Toy
or
Story.
even a show maybe? Think a show would work?
No, I don't think a show would
Like
work.
20 minutes?
No.
No. But anyways, I don't know. I if they do shorts, I'll be cool with it. Uh, who knows? I think the way they ended it though is in the movie. I think that's great. I recommend everybody just go out there and watch it. I know
No,
we said a lot of spoilers.
like
We
we
should
said,
probably timestamp
it's super
maybe. I
hard.
don't know.
It's super hard to talk about good movies because you don't want to spoil, especially like a movie like this. I would say everybody should go out and watch this movie. If you're a big fan of Toy Story, you should definitely go watch like this movie because it's really
Yeah,
fucking great.
yeah. I know you
So,
cried.
I
I almost did, but I held my composure.
yeah, I was out of it, bro. I started crying. I can't lie. I'm not gonna lie to you
You know,
guys.
hold up. Basically, I just, dude, I almost fucking cried. Like it was so hard not to. I should have just let it out, but I was just like, all right, I'm not gonna be a bitch nigga today.
You should have,
I'm just
bro.
gonna relax.
Should've. That's what I did. All right. So we got Toy Story.
Can we,
Onto well, hold on. Before we
hold
get
up, can
into
we?
like super serious stuff, and then we can just make a joke here. Bernie Sanders is the first ever politician to gonna be streaming on Twitch. He has a Twitch account now. And he hasn't streamed yet, but it's gonna happen. I guess like the real question is like, what world are we living in, where like politicians realize that like Twitch is such a crazy platform to be a part of, to help like, cause this is just to help his campaign, of course. Uh,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, is he really interested, or is he just
no,
doing it for his? That's
it's for
that's
his
what he's
campaign.
doing it for, his campaign. Let's be fucking honest here. He's not truly into any of this shit. He wants to, be involved in the gaming community, so gamers can support him and shit. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah,
isn't
watch him.
necessarily isn't necessarily a bad thing. Huh? Not. If you truly care, cool. I haven't
I
looked
mean,
into what he
like,
has to say on Twitch, but
so I guess like the problem, I think the problem what you and me are having, right, is that I think you still see Twitch as like a very big heavy on gaming. Um, where I've realized that Twitch has there's two parts of a Twitch community, right? There's the one with people who are really big into gaming, and then the just chatting section are literally like people who have never touched. Like there's some people who have never touched a game in their life, um, but they're just really good at talking live. So that's why I think Bernie might be able. I'm pretty sure he's just gonna do just chatting about politics. Uh, so he'll be fine.
yeah. Can you give me 1 second? I don't know if you want to timestamp that, but I want to use the bathroom.
Go for it.
I'll be back. All right,
You ready?
we're good. Yeah,
All
you
right.
can start with the Etika stuff.
So, uh, All right. We're
This is
gonna
getting to it basically.
yeah. So we're gonna get a little. Gonna get a little deep. Um. Fuck. How do we start this? I guess the best way to start would be, uh, R.I.P. Etika, Desmond. He was
Mofa.
found. Mofa. I never want to say his name because I know I'm gonna get it wrong. Um.
No, it's all good.
So we're just gonna call him Etika, especially since I don't think we don't know him. I think it's only fair that we just call him. Anyways. Um. Oof, this is gonna be hard. So he was found Wednesday, which was technically yesterday. Uh, off the Hudson Bridge, I believe you said. I believe that's where it's from.
No, 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 no. So this is what happened. So they announced that Attic was dead yesterday. Um, I don't know when exactly he died. I think I don't know. They're probably do. I don't know if they can figure out the
Have to do
autopsy like
yeah
when he died. It was like last week, right? Because he went missing
last week.
last Wednesday, right? Like literally a week ago. Um, and basically, he left that same night. They found his stuff on the Manhattan Bridge that same night. And they obviously, they didn't know if he had jumped off yet. They were still investigating. And then I think like Tuesday, which I think this is what happened on Tuesday, from what I heard, they found the body, but they didn't confirm anything yet. In the east of the Hudson River. And then that's when we found out on Wednesday morning that it was confirmed that it was his body they found, and that he passed away. Obviously, he basically committed suicide. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say and lead on with.
So yeah. So this isn't really gonna be a talk about Etika because I don't think it feels right for us to be speaking about him as we know, like we knew him. I think the most that me and Savage can say are that we were fans of him. We would watch videos of him, clips of him, follow him on Twitter, stuff like that. So it does come as a big surprise to us. Well, not. I don't even know if we would say surprise. Um, but I guess we should go to the past. So, Etika had been having mental breakdowns, quote unquote. Uh, just I say quote unquote
Yeah,
because uh, sometimes people didn't believe it was true. Sometimes they were true. It was a very sticky situation. Um, I guess before we keep going, I would say this. I'm gonna put, in case anybody watches this, I'm gonna put not only the suicide prevention hotline down below. Um, I'm gonna put on like some tips for people because one big problem that I think a lot of people are forgetting, especially in the Seneca case, is that you can tell somebody as much as you want to call a hotline. But if that person hasn't accepted help, um, you're basically just talking to a wall. As fucked up as that sounds. Um, so Etika had mental breakdowns, was sent to hospitals. Would come out, have another mental breakdown, would joke about it, and it made people disbelieve in Etika, and think that he was just memeing, and people would just spam clown emotes, until he actually took his life, and then now everybody is spamming RIP Etika. Unfortunately, if we really look at like the big problem here with the Etika situation, um, Etika's a victim of social media and a victim of the system failing him. Where had he stayed in the hospital, I think things would have turned out differently. And had we not built this toxic culture in social media, I think a lot of people's lives would also end up differently. Uh,
yeah, I agree with you. You know, can I speak
yeah, go for it. Go
on
for
what
it.
I wanted to say? Uh, me, I watched Attica for a couple of years now. And you know the past, I think it was 2017 when he had his first breakdown, right? I think that's when his first channel got shut down. I think around that time, um, which he had a lot of subscribers. He was growing really quickly, but I guess it got to him, and he got a mental breakdown. He ended up putting, stuff that you shouldn't put on YouTube on his channel, and got it shut down basically. After a while, he came back eventually, made a new channel, got a new following again, had another mental breakdown, got channel deleted recently, which was crazy because this was like a month ago, and I remember seeing it, and I'm like, is he really serious? Like, is this? The reason I question it is because like the things he would say on the internet, uh, that's why I would question it. But at the same time, I'm like, Etika had a lot going for him. Like he had a lot of people following him, a lot of people that liked him, and a lot of people also took him as a joke. Like they took this whole situation that he was doing as a straight up joke, like just commenting memes and all over social media, especially his Twitter, because Twitter was one of the places that Etika would express all the I guess you could say crazy things for lack of a better word that he would say, and people just thought that like, oh, this is just Etika being a meme basically, and this is just normal Etika, and I think the fact that people thought this was normal Etika is kind of bad. I know you could probably question it if you see the things he says and does in the past, but at the same time, I'm like, there was something definitely wrong with him, and I think that's what people didn't understand, and they just took it as a joke, and they shouldn't have. And I think that like they really, again, I don't know how his friends were around him and how much they try to help him. From what I've learned on social media, and this is just social media again, you don't truly know what's going on behind back doors, is that he pushed people away, and he kept blocking people that will message him, like his friends and stuff, and people that met him and shit like that. Like all these people were messaging him, asking him, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" Or making sure that he was okay, and he was just like blocking them and pushing them away, and kind of just like, saying all these crazy things. But you know, I don't know. Like if you're a person, how do I say this? Like from what he so skipping to his video, right? Like his final video. This is after like this is actually like a month, yeah, a little bit over a month from the last time he had a breakdown. He made this suicide virtual. I guess you could call it a virtual suicide note, right? And that video is something that I think will live on for a long time and give people like this message that if you're out there and you're doing this job of YouTube, and so you're getting big on social media, whether it's YouTube or some other platform that you're getting big on, you got to be careful with it, right? You got to always be careful with it. And that's something that he mentions it in the video, that he let social media consume him. Basically, he let the fact that he had this character on the internet, that he played out, on the internet, consume him basically. And he thought that if he basically gave into his mental illness finally and said, "Hey, I need help," that the people who follow him, the people that follow him for this image that he put on the internet, will not like him anymore, will stop following him. To those people, to anybody who would do that, fuck off, first off, because like if you're truly a fan of Etika, I think that you'd support the fact that he needs help if he ever came out and said it, because there are people like that out there that they just want to see this persona and they don't give a fuck about anything else, like, and then they'll stop being your fan just because you get out of character. So with that being said, your mental health is more important than anything in the world. um, I think that you should always reach out to people, your loved ones. It's always good that you disconnect from the internet every once in a while, to really, get back into reality. Um, do you have anything else to say, Brandon? Because I'm
Um,
kind of like running through my thoughts, and
yeah,
there's a
no,
lot to
that's
say, but it's just like there's so much like things that we could talk about here, because I also wanted to touch on you a little bit, but go ahead, continue saying what
yeah.
you're gonna say if you're gonna say anything.
No, so like in the sense of social media, um, Etika touched a lot of people. Uh, and I'm not gonna try to compare it to my my streamer or whatever, my entertainment. Um, but I kind of feel I kind of understand. Um, it. Fuck, I don't even know how I word this. So I have people that come into my stream a lot, right? Um, and I kind of understand why fans get are like really sad. So I have fuck. I'm gonna sound really fucked up right now. For me, when it comes to death, I don't have like everybody deal. First off, everybody deals with death differently, and it's a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever They'll never let anybody judge you on the way you handle things. So I handle death in a really weird way. When I hear that someone died, I don't really have an emotion. I kind of just say shit that sucks and kind of move on. Now seeing that person dead and in person is kind of like a different feeling for me. But just kind of like the news of death is kind of just like I think that it just doesn't hit me, and until I can actually see that person, just when it hits
yeah,
me.
I think
But that's beside the point.
yeah, like
Um,
for you, I think it's different where like you could hear about like a celebrity dying, you're like, oh damn, that really sucks. Like it's saddening, yeah. Like Attica's death for me was a little more sad. I liked him more, but everybody's different, right? Like you're different from me. I don't know if you ever do you like any YouTubers that are like really
well, here's
you
the thing.
follow really fucking hard?
That's what I'll get to. I don't think it matters who it is, right? When my grandmother died, I didn't really have an emotion. And when my
Were
sister's
you close to
fiance
your
died,
grandmother?
I loved my grandma, yeah. I just didn't have
But
an emotion.
were you like really
No,
close?
we
Like
weren't
you know what I'm saying?
super close, no. But
Yeah,
that's beside the
that's
point.
also
This is
another
all
thing
beside the
maybe.
point. This is all beside the point. Um, so like I said, but I kind of realized how some fans can feel, right? So when I stream, I have like two viewers, right? But sometimes some people come in consistently that I kind of know, right? And it's this really weird feeling of like entertaining someone and them posting about like what you mean to them, right? So shout out to Epic Noah in our Discord. Doug underscore Dust underscore editing on Instagram, I believe. He's like when he posts about me, it makes me like I feel like very weird, right? Because he posts about like how much like I've never met this guy, right? I never really talked to him like in voice chat or whatever. Um, but like he just likes the content that I make, and he likes just like talking to me through text. And so imagine just like that one person, but over like hundreds of thousands of people, and that's kind of how you get like Etika. So I kind of understand where like fans feel, where it's like they get this bond with somebody that they just kind of see, and they maybe sometimes talk to them on Twitter or whatever, right? Um, so like fuck, there's so much I don't even know what to say. So like, it's a super complicated thing to even talk about because I've been on that bridge like literally and figuratively. It's not like a good feeling to have whatsoever. Uh, like I don't really want people to ever experience that kind of emotions because it's just really shitty. And I really never know like when it comes to like stuff like this, I never really know like how to come across it. But I guess like if I could ever speak to anybody who also has like this feeling, um, or I constantly wonder like what I would have want somebody to say to me, had they like saw me there. It probably be that like there's you might not feel like people maybe you don't have anybody around your life right now that feels that you think likes you. Um, but there's people out there that do, and you may not feel like your parents love you, but deep down they probably do. Now I don't know if you have a toxic life, like a toxic family. I'm not sure, but like you will find people who genuinely care about you. I talk a lot about how like the world's kind of fucked up, and I have like a weird way of viewing things where I legitimately think people are just bad people in general. But there are good people out there. There's people who will help you. There are people who will talk to you.
Yeah,
And there are
man.
people. Hold on, I'm rambling right now. Let me just keep going. There are people who will like be there for you. And you kind of have to pick and choose who you want in your life. Um, and it might be hard to look at yourself and be like, uh, let me have this person in my life because I want them in my life or I need them in my life because I don't have anybody else. But it's also about like there's so much things to go into this, like the people around you, the happiness that you feel for yourself. Um, that like I don't even know what somebody could have said to me to have changed my mind, because I don't even know like how at that moment, like I don't even know what happened in that moment, to be honest, right? Uh, I guess like the way that I changed my mind. I'm sorry I'm rambling, and like my thoughts get really like jumbled up when it comes to this topic, especially in
Yeah, same
this kind
here.
of situation.
It's really hard topic to talk about, but it's
Especially
understandable. So continue.
especially with like the situation. But I guess it's like don't jump, don't do anything. Um, because things do get better. It'll take some time, but things will get better. Um, but things don't get better unless you yourself want things to get better. Now I know that sounds pretty selfish to say, but if I will say like if you need medicine, you should probably take those, because if you need them, like they'll probably help you. But if you think you don't need medication and you think you could handle it, it's a lot of introspection and looking at yourself and not trying to beat yourself up, but trying to change who you are. And that's kind of like what I have to say.
Okay, so like I was gonna say earlier when you were speaking about getting help, there's a lot of things out there that you could do, like, even if like let's say you have a toxic life, like Brandon said, okay, like you have shit parents and just, maybe you have no friends or maybe you have shitty friends, stuff like that. Like you can find programs and meet people that like there's places you can go and just talk, like group talks, that you can talk to each other and relate to people who are also going through the same thing as you, or sometimes even worse. That's another thing that I know is really hard to get through to your head, is that you're not the only one going through something shitty. There's other people going through probably the same thing or even worse. I know that's such a hard thing to think about when you're in such a shit show of a life, that you're just like thinking like, damn, why is this happening to me? Everybody around me is having such a great life, but then I'm here in this shit fucking show of a life where things aren't getting better. And I know it feels like that. As someone who has been through depression and understands what it's like to feel like that, my the reason I felt like that is because I have some medical issues that kind of pause my life basically. Doesn't allow me to do things like go to work, or even go to school, because of the type of physical pain that I feel with this medical issue. And then that whole medical issue caused me to go into a deep depression. And this medical issue would last for a long time. I'm currently going through a path that will hopefully make me feel better in the end. Uh, but when it all started, a year ago, and even before that, I I got really depressed, because I'm like, damn, like this thing is taking a lot from my life. I'm not getting anywhere. I basically fought myself mentally, saying like, you know, uh, eventually I've come to terms that this medical issue is going to be here for the rest of my life. You basically have to think in your head like, okay, I have this for the rest of my life. I have to deal with it, and that's how I thought of it as, and that's how I dealt with it. And now to this day, like I still think of it as, oh, this is part of my life. I'm just going to deal with it day by day, and I won't always be in the shit of a life where I'm not working, I'm not going to school, uh, because of this medical issue. So I keep fighting, and currently, honestly, I feel a lot better. I'm not mentally unstable right now. I'm fine. I get sad every once in a while, but that's just sadness. I can tell the difference between depression and sadness. Depression, like, it got to a point, just like Brandon admitted that, he got to a very dark point in his life. I kind of got to a very dark point in my life, but it wasn't like suicidal. It was more of like if I just kind of died on accident, I would just let it happen. I wouldn't, I would, like if someone aimed a gun at me, I'd probably let them shoot me. It was kind of like that. Um, I wouldn't really care. Kind of got to that point. Uh, I've dealt with, depression for a while now, and I feel a lot better now. And with that being said, everybody's different. Everybody, has a different way of coping with depression and all that stuff. And what I have to say is that if you can find a way to deal with it, whether it's talking to people, whether it's going to group meetings and talking to people that all have different problems, or talking to your family, talking to your friends, going outside, going for walks, doing whatever you can to get your mind off of it, listen to music, you know, that's all the best advice I give you is just do whatever you can to keep fighting. Don't give up because as dark as your world may be, as much as you may think that you're alone, that nobody's fucking gonna help you, that nobody cares about you, it's not true. There's people out there that care about you. There's a life worth living. I think that everybody's put here on this earth to do something with their lives. Uh, and you have a life worth living. You keep fighting, you keep doing what you can to hopefully see, something brighter in the future for yourself. Uh,
And
you
and
know,
and also before
Go ahead.
before before we end this, um, I cannot stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. Seek professional help. All right.
Yes.
I know people like to say, talk to your friends, talk to your family. There's only so much that your friends and family can do. Um, so seek professional help, because I don't fuck. I'm not gonna say no. I won't say it like that. Like I said, there's only so much that your friends can do, to the point where like they can't help you, right? If you're too deep into it, that nothing they can say can help unless you have professional help. So like I said, please, please, please
Yes.
seek professional help always. All right, it changed.
Don't.
I went to therapy. I got professional help. Changed. I am like the person I am today because I went to therapy.
Yes. I I was gonna get to that point too. Like basically, look, man. Like I've heard so many stories, and this is like, depression runs in my family, and I've even had a talk with my mom about how, uh, a lot of people, especially minorities for some reason, they don't believe in depression, and in a lot of minority families, they'll say like, oh, just toughen up, like you're just sad, and like just man the fuck up, like deal with it, and a lot that's another thing that's very like toxic in certain families, that they don't understand that depression is a thing. And I don't know about you, Brand, but I think that there's still I think mental health just gets overlooked a lot today in society, still to this day, with
Really,
how many like suicides there are and stuff. And uh, I feel like a lot of people don't see it as a serious thing yet. Uh,
hmm,
but yeah, like no matter what somebody in your family says, like if you have somebody telling you, "Oh, just man the fuck up," like, "Oh, this is just temporary," like, because depression is something that's like a mental imbalance. Like you actually need uh, some way of dealing with it, which is getting yourself professional help, like therapy and taking pills. I was on antidepressants for a while. I'm off of them now, but I was on them for a while, and they did help. Um, so don't ever be afraid. Don't ever don't get you know don't ever be afraid that like, oh, I'm gonna look like a pussy if I'm taking pills or something. No, that's not the truth. Like go take those pills. Go get yourself therapy. Go to the doctor. Go get yourself professional help, because let me tell you, it works miracles. And I know personally, I know a lot of stubborn people in my life that didn't get themselves help, and or they're currently still going through certain things. And I'm just like, man, like if these people like would go get themselves help, they'd probably feel a lot better. And some people I know that like those two people I knew that committed suicide just because they were too hard headed to go get themselves help, and that's really sad. Um, like again, like just get yourself help. You know, anything. Just talk to people. Go to a professional. Get yourself help. Take pills, and let me tell you, your life can get a lot better. Uh, you know, so I think that's all I really have to say. I want to end with saying, uh, rest in peace, Etika. Uh,
yep.
you know, you you made me laugh a lot, and I really appreciated that. I loved your content, and I think your content will be immortalized. I think like a lot of people out there loved your content, and there's certain pages that you can go to watch more of your content. and I will continue to watch that content as years go by, just because you had a lot of funny content. So
Oh
thank you
yeah.
for all those years and all your hard work, sir.
Oh yeah,
I hope you're in
bro.
a better place.
Well, guys,
Anyways,
like I
Brian.
said, I guess that's a great place to end it. Um, we're not gonna. I don't think it'd be right to end in the usual format that we do. So I'll just say, um, talk to someone, reach out. If you think your friend's going through this, it's okay to just say hello, ask them how they're doing. And if you are going through this, it's okay to seek for help. This has been the AFK podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.